We begin with breaking news this evening. Tonight, police have confirmed that human remains found in Little Rock Park are those of missing 18-year-old Ebby Steppach.
He ran into my house and said, "Something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong." You know, I look over there and just think, she was in that ditch, in that drain. And I just look at that and think, how is she in there?
Who murdered the Little Rock girl, Ebby Steppach? And I said, "Hey, what's on your mind?" I think about my life without you, and I start to cry. And I said, "Hey, it's alright, we'll make it, I love you, and I'll never leave your side." Circles by Pierce the Veil. Ebster, Ebby Jane, and Ebby Jane was a joy to have around. She was bubbly, had a big heart, and was loyal. Ebby was known for going out of her way to help the ones she loved. She saw the best in people and loved anyone who came into her life with a fierceness that was unmatched. Ebby loved the Lord and cared so much for others, especially if she felt they had been wronged. Ebby loved children, the color purple, good music, and Hot Pockets. She loved dressing up with lipstick and the newest hairstyles. Ebby was beautiful in a dress or in a ball cap, and her laugh was contagious. She never left a room unless she knew you were smiling. If there was a disagreement, she always asked for forgiveness to make things right. Ebby's family was so important to her. She adored her grandparents and loved spending time with them. She was from a family of talented artists and loved photography the most. She was a true artist. One of Ebby's favorite places to visit was the beach. She loved the sand, the ocean, the wind, and collecting seashells. During a vacation, when Ebby was 10 years old, a tropical depression was going to last for 7 days. Ebby wanted to go out to play, and her mom said, "We're praying the storm away." She walked right out into the storm and prayed it away, and the family watched the sun come out, and the rest of the week was full of sunshine. Ebby and her mother were very close. I knew when she took a breath, her first breath, that we would be close, and that she would be a very special young lady. Sometimes a mother just knows what their child can't say, and we were like that. The beach was one of her favorite places, and I will always feel as if she's still there with me, said Ebby's mom. Ebby Jane Steppach was born on March 31st, 1997 in Little Rock, Arkansas, to Lori and Peter Steppach. Growing up, she lived with her mother, her stepfather, Michael Jernigan, her older brother Trevor, and her younger sister Harris. When it came to her education, Ebby spent most of her life attending charter schools before transferring to Central High School in Little Rock during her senior year in 2015. She was to be a 2016 Central High School graduate, and her dream was to be a cosmetologist and a real estate agent. She was studying 2 languages, Spanish and Turkish, and learning Hebrew with her grandma Debbie. During this time of her life, she also got a job at the Foot Locker in McCain Mall, a move her family says coincided with a change in her behavior. Ebby was 18, and her decision to transfer schools had come after she began dating a new boyfriend. She started being late for school, but her parents never addressed this with her, wanting to give her more independence. She also had moved out of her parents' house, mainly staying at her grandparents' houses, and that of a friend from her time at Lisa Academy. On October 21st, 2015, Ebby missed school. On the night of October 23rd, Ebby attended a house party to kick off the weekend. According to a text sent to her friend, Gage Fulton, Ebby said she had felt forced into a sexual encounter. She also mentioned it had been recorded on a cell phone without her knowledge or consent. October 24th, Ebby texted her stepfather and told him what had happened. She wanted to report the incident to authorities. Later that evening, when her mother and stepfather attempted to reach her by phone, they got no response. Phone records also showed that Ebby texted the men implicated, threatening to report them to authorities. Michael texted his stepdaughter and told her he would meet her at her grandparents' house, where she was reportedly staying at the time. He received no response. When he called the grandparents' house to ask if Ebby was there, they said she had left to go and meet him. However, the pair had made no arrangements to meet away from the house. On October 25th at around 2 p.m., Trevor managed to get a hold of his sister. He described her as seeming disoriented during their conversation. She told Trevor that she was parked outside his house. Trevor was relieved and hung up the phone. He went to his front door, but found neither his sister nor her car was outside. He then called her back. Ebby admitted that she was in her car, but didn't know where it was parked. She told him, "I'm fucked up," and then the phone call ended. Ebby was never heard from again. Trevor immediately called the police and told them to look for Ebby's car. They listed her as a runaway, and no search was conducted, despite her family saying she would never run away and not talk to them. Concerned, the family conducted their own search for Ebby, but had no luck finding her. On October 27th, Ebby's 2000 Volkswagen Passat was discovered by security guard Guy Hooper, abandoned in a parking lot near a wooded area in a neighborhood park named Chalamont Park. After Guy notified police, he waited 2 hours for an officer to arrive, however none did. The next day, Ebby's car was still there. After seeing the vehicle, Guy once again called police. They finally arrived around an hour later and discovered it belonged to Ebby. The car had an empty gas tank as well as a dead battery, and the key had been left in the ignition. Her clothes, makeup, and cell phone were all left in the car, as well as her contact lenses that she couldn't see without. Ebby's family was devastated. They hoped she would have been found inside the car, alive and probably a little messed up, but okay. And they still hadn't convinced police that she wasn't a runaway. When Ebby's parents received her car back from Little Rock police, the interior and many of her personal belongings were water damaged due to the trunk being left open during a storm by police. Her stepfather meticulously photographed the inside of the car and her belongings. Surveillance footage was located about a week after Ebby went missing, which showed her car traveling along Cantrell Road in West Little Rock. However, where she was on the road has never been publicly released, nor if there was anyone else in the car with her. Ebby's family approached the media to help to try to find her, as well as creating a Facebook group called Official Find Ebby Steppach to help spread awareness via social media. Her family hired private investigator Monty Vickers. Vickers initially hesitated to take the case, but once he saw the shoddy investigation, he knew he had to get involved. He began to track Ebby's last known movements before she disappeared. He searched areas around the accused men's homes, ditches, the woods, and other areas that someone could dump a body. 5 months into the investigation, he spoke with Guy, who said it was the first anyone had contacted him about his discovery of Ebby's car. He also told Monty that he believed he'd seen Ebby 3 different times before her disappearance. The first time he saw her, she was with 2 young black men and had asked the trio to leave, which they did without argument. The second time, she was with another black man in the back seat of her car. The final time, she was with more unknown men. All 3 times there was one constant man, whom Guy said that was hugging and kissing Ebby. He was about 5'6" to 5'7" feet tall with long dreads. In November 2015, the family offered up a $3,000 reward for information leading to her discovery. In April 2016, volunteers searched for Ebby, beginning in the area near where her car was found and moving toward a wooded area near Markham and Bowman.
I got right about here, and I just got hit with the smell of decomposition.
911, what's the location emergency?
I just came out of a meeting with Detective Williams in regards to a missing person named Ebby.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
He said that the car was located in this park, and I brought my daughter here, who's a friend of hers, and we just started walking around, and I could smell decomposition. So I was just trying to call his phone, and he didn't call me back. Could you send somebody here to investigate? And this is where he said her car was found, and I brought my daughter Kaylee.
Okay.
She had been here with her before.
Sure.
We came here.
Okay.
We're going to have her look around, and as I passed the sewer, I could smell decomposition.
Okay, just a second.
And it does look like the area would be big enough for somebody to fit in.
All right. I want to see who we need to get out there, and then I will call you in just a few minutes, and we'll go from there, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. All right. Bye-bye.
I was kind of dismissed by him. This park was gone through with dogs, and they, would have picked up on that, and it must be an animal or something.
By June 2016, the Little Rock Police Department began investigating the case as more than a runaway and handed her case over to the Violent Crimes Division. Ebby's mother said the Little Rock police couldn't check which tower Ebby's phone pinged off of when she made the final call to her brother due to lack of resources. After that, Ebby's family wrote letters to the governor begging for help. The FBI voluntarily got involved, but crucial evidence had already been lost. In November 2016, police searched Shalimont Park. Searchers stumbled onto a site consisting of clothes, handcuffs, a shoe, and what appeared to be a skeleton leg bone of a human were found. It was later determined the leg bone belonged to an animal, and this had nothing to do with Ebby's disappearance. By 2017, the men implicated in Ebby's rape were spoken to by investigators, but there were no formal searches of their cell phones for the alleged video of her rape. Also in 2017, Ebby's mother and brother Trevor appeared on Dr. Phil, as well as Nancy Grace. The Steppach family offered a reward of $50,000 with information leading to Ebby's discovery. By this time, Ebby's face and information were featured on billboards and banners across central Arkansas.
So many have contributed to our efforts to find Ebby in so many ways. There is overwhelming support through prayer. Many have given their time and donated services. Many have made a financial donation to assist in covering the cost of not only searching for Ebby, but to allow us to offer a reward for information regarding her whereabouts. And it is through these collective efforts that have brought us here today. Today, Laurie and I are announcing an increased reward in Ebby's case. The reward amount for information leading to Ebby's whereabouts is now $50,000. Anyone having information can contact the Little Rock Police Department. Contact information for the Little Rock Police Department will be provided in just a moment. We would like to thank everyone for all of your support in helping us in our efforts to find Ebby.
True Crime Daily picked up the cause to help find out what happened to Ebby. True Crime Daily showed Guy a mugshot of sex traffickers that picked up in a two-state prostitution ring that transported young women from Little Rock to Boise City for sexual purposes. Guy recognized two of the criminals. He claimed that both of the sex traffickers were among those men that he had seen with Ebby that day. One of them was 21-year-old Keith Pruitt of Little Rock. He was the man that Guy had seen with Ebby all 3 times. The other man was 23-year-old Gary Jackson. On February 12, 2018, after waiting for Ebby's case to change departments in the cold case unit, Lori filed a complaint with the Little Rock Police Department. A captain, a lieutenant, and a sergeant had sent her threatening text messages, had yelled at her during questioning, and had refused to update her on the case during the early days of the investigation. She had recordings of the conversations, text message threads, emails, and witnesses to back up her claims. Despite this, there was no sufficient evidence of any mistreatment. However, the officers implicated were no longer with the Major Crimes Unit. On May 24, 2018, a gruesome discovery happened at around 10 a.m. The cold case unit teamed up with the FBI and the Public Works Department and were performing another search of Shalimont Park when investigators were close to Ebby's car using robots with video cameras. They noticed a small obstruction about 70 feet down a drainage pipe. When they dug up the pipe, they discovered skeletal remains, which later were positively identified as Ebby's.
From Little Rock Police confirm the remains found in Shalimont Park yesterday are those of Ebby Steppach.
The family of Ebby Steppach has released a statement regarding the news that her body has been found in Shalimont Park in West Little Rock.
They wrote in part, the family would like to thank all of you who have supported efforts to find Ebby. It has been through your support, many prayers, and God's strength that they have been able to make this journey. God hears and answers all prayers, they write. Yesterday, God answered the family's prayers to find Ebby. The police searched this area in November of 2016, but they did not find any remains.
She's been there all this time. We might have known what happened to her.
I was right there. She was right there. Her body was right there. About 60 feet from her car. I didn't know a lot of things that I know now. I didn't know someone reported smells from that drainage pipe. I didn't know there was 911 calls. It may have been a different story.
On April 17, 2019, Ebby's older brother Trevor died from a massive heart attack at just 35 years old. Tommy Hudson with the Little Rock Police's Cold Case Unit said that the case is considered an open homicide investigation. He also said that the medical examiner has determined a preliminary cause of death, but that information will not be released to avoid jeopardizing the case.
This teacher, her senior year, wanted to know, how do you want to be remembered? And she said, I want to leave this world a better place than the one I came into. And I want people to always remember my name.
If you have any information regarding the murder of Ebby Steppach, please contact the Little Rock Police Department at 501-371-4829.